Let us recall few facts about electrical charge. Charge is the quantity which determines the strength of the interaction, electrical interaction. And we will observe properties of the charges. First one is they come in two types. And it is convenient if we call them positive charge and negative charge. It is only convenience. Next fact about charge is charge conservation. That is, you cannot create or destroy net charge of an isolated system. Isolated system. Isolated system. Careful about the word net, because you can create 1 coulomb positive charge, but at the same time you should create minus 1 coulomb charge also. Let me explain with one physical example. We know that light comes in particle form. They are called photons, and photon has zero charge. And when it hits the nucleus, it is converted into one proton, one antiproton, antiproton, and this proton has positive charge, antiproton has equal negative charge. Therefore, charge is conserved, net charge is conserved. Proton has plus charge, antiproton has equal negative charge. Earlier also zero charge was there. But if you see just individual, this one you have created positive charge and you have created negative charge also. Next property is third one, charge comes in discrete amount, and minimum amount for our purpose, it is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, which is the charge on the electron. Okay. Proton also has equal charge, but charge on the electron is negative, therefore minus 1.6. Now you can have one electron or another electron. Therefore, you can have 1.6 charge minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb charge. By adding one more electron, you will get minus 3.2 10 power minus 19 coulomb. No in between values. After adding another electron, you will have minus 4.8 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. If you add one more charge, you will have minus 6.8 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. If you want to have 5 coulomb, 5 into 10 power minus coulomb, 10 power minus 19 coulomb, it is not possible because charges won't come in continuous amount, they come in discrete amount. This is very important concept. Therefore, if we go to very low particle number or electron charge number, very low density of charges per unit volume, then we may observe this fact that charge comes in discrete amount. But for our purpose, we treat as if charge comes in continuous amount. That means whatever value of charge I can have. Okay. Therefore, instead of having n into electron charge multiplied, where n is an integer, I can treat that can take any value. That can take any value q. Now let us consider two charges q1, q2. They interact electrically and force of interaction is given by Coulomb's law, which says that force is proportional to the product of charges and inversely proportional to the distance of separation. Now if they are of opposite charges, then q1 will be attracted towards q2. Now the question is whether this charge responded directly to q2 or whether it responded to something that is produced by q2 at this point. The answer is second one. It responded to something which was present in this point, and that something is called by field. Something is called field by Michael Faraday, and there are many kinds of field. Therefore, let us have this as electric field. It's a vector quantity. Therefore, let me denote it by a arrow E. He says that Faraday says that at every point surrounding the charge there exists certain quantity called electric field, and charges won't see directly that other charges, they respond to the fields produced by those charges. If the charge, another charge q comes here, it sees the electric field here and it will respond to that electric field. The force is like this, and if that charge comes here and it sees the electric field in this direction and it will respond to that electric field, force will be like this. And according to Faraday, this force of interaction between charge and the field is given by this formula. F is equal to charge q into electric field E. If I know force, then electric field E is given by F by Q. Mathematically, these two are identical formulas, but interpretation you should be careful how to interpret, because this tells whenever charge comes to certain point P and electric field at that point is E, then charge will be responding to that field by a force F given by this formula. But this says that whenever I know force, I can calculate electric field. Now, if a point charge is here at point P and strength of the charge is Q, then electric field at any point is given by electric field at any point is given by E is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught 4 pi epsilon naught R cap and divided by R square. Suppose you want to calculate at this point and distance from the charge to that point is R, then this is the R square and R cap is along the line joining these 2 points R cap. Now, whenever two charges are there, what is the electric field at any point? Let me say two charges are present here, Q1 is here, Q2 is here. Then you want to find the electric field at this point. How to find it? Then there is something called superposition principle. Superposition principle. This is an experimental observation only. It holds good uh, to good extent, but it is found out that it has a violation in very high field strength. But now let us assume it is valid in all of our discussion. What it says is electric field present at any point whenever many charges are present is equal to the resultant of the individual fields. That means if E is the net electric field present at that point, then you forget Q2 and have only Q1. Then there will be an electric field E1. Now you forget Q2 and have charge Q1, then there will be a field in this direction. This is E1, this is E2, then electric field is the net vector sum of these two fields. Right? Sum of these two fields, E1 plus E2. If many more charges are there, then you add all the electric fields due to individual charges. Now let us have something else. Instead of having many discrete charges, many discrete charges, ith charge, and there are n number of charges, then electric field E is at any point summation of EI, I varies from 1 to n. For n number of charges, n number of point charges. Suppose we have charges distributed over some line, means very narrow wire like of thing. Charges are distributed all over this curve or line. Then if you want to calculate electric field here at point P, how to do that? Because now it is not a point charge, it is a distribution over the some curve. How to do it? And our friend is superposition principle. You can think this has some small charge portion of this line as point charge. If you are not satisfied with this much of size, you further divide it very small amount. Now you can treat it as a point charge. Although it's not exactly point charge, but you can make whatever amount you feel as point charge or small. Then you calculate from this point what will be the distance to this point. Using that you calculate field due to this portion. Then you calculate due to this portion. Then you calculate due to this portion. Then you calculate this portion, like this. Therefore, you will have certain thing called like this. If line element is dl, small line element is dl portion of this one, then unit charge, charge per unit length at that point is lambda. This is the lambda charge density per unit length. Then this gives the total amount of the charge in that element, and distance from that point r minus r dash square integration over that line, and it should be called as dl dash. This gives the total electric field at that point P. Therefore, line charge means integrations are inward, and this is over a line, therefore it is called line integral. Similarly,